Ok. Xin chào mọi người.
Đầu tiên chào tất cả mọi người đã đến với sự kiện PostgreSQL ngày hôm nay. Thì mình rất là vui được ở đây để chia sẻ với mọi người một cái câu chuyện khi mà mình làm việc với dữ liệu với data khi mà mình mới bắt đầu sự nghiệp và Kothari này đã áp dụng Việt Nam. Ok. Thì một chút về bản thân mình tên là Pham Quang Minh. Các bạn có biết đến mình qua cái tên là Ioseph Kim, mình biết lớp trong từ lâu. Thì hiện tại mình đang làm backend và backend và DevOps, có làm khá về dữ liệu nữa. Thì cái điều quan tâm của mình liên quan đến cái việc là xây dựng một văn hóa xác định dựa trên dữ liệu. Rồi là mình cũng thích optimize hệ thống, optimize công việc, optimize đủ thứ. Rồi, ok. Hiện tại thì mình đang thất nghiệp. Rồi thì nội dung của buổi hôm nay thì mình sẽ chia sẻ về cái câu chuyện mà
làm dữ liệu của mình khi mà mình mới bắt đầu sự nghiệp là năm 2016. Lúc đấy mình mới ra trường thôi, mới là sinh viên mới ra trường thôi. Thì mình đã phải gặp những cái bài toán như thế nào và thằng Postgre nó đã cứu mình như thế nào. Thì cái nội dung của buổi hôm nay thì đầu tiên là mình sẽ nhắc lại qua một tí về cái chuyện là lúc đấy mình là ai, không phải bây giờ mà lúc đấy mình là ai. Sau đó thì đấy, sau đấy thì sẽ là cái bài toán mà mình đã gặp phải khi mà mình được giao cái công việc đầu tiên, giao cái nhiệm vụ đầu tiên. Sau đó thì sẽ là những cái thách thức sau đấy mình gặp phải và thằng Postgre nó đã xử lý nó như thế nào. Phần cuối cùng thì mình, nếu mà còn thời gian thì mình sẽ chia sẻ thêm một cái challenge, một cái bài toán mà mình thường hay gặp phải ở trong các cái hệ thống analytics. Đó, nó chỉ là một cái bài toán gọi là đếm số đơn giản thôi. Đó, ok. Rồi, thì phần đầu tiên mình là ai vào lúc đó. Thì vào lúc đấy thì mình mới, năm 2016 thì mình mới tốt nghiệp kinh tế. Mới tốt nghiệp bằng xuất sắc kinh tế quốc dân. Đó. Và không có cái base gì về IT, không có cái base gì về về công nghệ hay là xử lý dữ liệu gì hết. Đấy, thì tuy nhiên là mình thấy là cái ngành kinh tế nó không phù hợp với mình lắm. Thế nên là mình cũng có chuyển hướng sang ngành IT, và cái công việc đầu tiên sau khi mình rời khỏi NEU thì nó lại là PHP developer, làm việc cho Apota, là một công ty lúc đấy là phát hành game. Rồi, ok. Đấy, tại sao mình lại phải nhắc đến cái điều này? Bởi vì nó sẽ ảnh hưởng đến cái bài toán phía sau này. Mình mới ra trường, không có base gì về IT, cũng không có base gì về dữ liệu các thứ, nhưng mà mình đã được giao một cái bài toán nhìn thì nó rất là đơn giản, là mình sẽ phải xây dựng một cái hệ thống báo cáo doanh thu cho tất cả những cái sản phẩm game của Apota. Thì lúc đấy nó đang có khoảng tầm 30 triệu user. Đấy, thì với khoảng theo mình nhớ không nhầm lúc đấy nó khoảng có vài triệu giao dịch rồi. Rồi, thì cái yêu cầu của nó đơn giản thôi, là mình pull cái dữ liệu từ những cái hệ thống payment của Apota về. Sau đấy là mình làm những cái báo cáo xem là ở hôm nay doanh thu bao nhiêu, hôm qua doanh thu bao nhiêu. Đấy, có như vậy thôi. Thì cái mà khó nhất ở đây thì lúc đấy mình gọi là big data. Thật ra là nó chưa big lắm. Đó, nhưng mà với mình lúc đấy thì nó là big. Đấy, với khoảng vài triệu cái giao dịch. Rồi, ok. Thì hồi đấy thì mình đã nghiên cứu một số cái giải pháp. Đấy, cũng đi tìm hiểu xem là ở trên thế giới người ta đang xử lý dữ liệu lớn như thế nào. Thế thì cái đầu tiên đập vào mắt mình đấy là hệ sinh thái của Hadoop. Đó, HDFS nó là hệ sinh thái chuyên về xử lý big dữ liệu lớn rồi. Với các những giải pháp về database này, rồi là về processing, rồi là về queue các thứ. Đấy, nhưng mà các bạn sẽ thấy là ngay lập tức là nó với một cái kiểu sinh viên vừa mới ra trường mà chưa có cái base gì IT như mình, đập vào cái hệ thống này nó như một cú tát vào mặt, đúng không? Làm sao mà mình có thể dựng được cái hệ thống Hadoop như thế này? Đó, thì mình bắt đầu nghiên cứu những cái giải pháp liên quan đến business intelligence khác. Đó, thì sẽ có một số cái tool cả open source cả trả phí, như là Pentaho này, hay là Talent này, hay là Tableau này. Đó, thì đấy là những cái tool về rất là nổi tiếng lúc đấy về business intelligence, là về làm báo cáo các thứ đấy. Thế nhưng mà Nhưng mà những cái tool đấy thì nó quá magic với mình, bởi vì nó hide đi toàn bộ những cái việc xử lý của nó phía sau này, cái việc tổ chức dữ liệu của nó phía sau. Và mình cũng lúc đấy mình đọc những cái tool đấy thì mình bảo là không biết tại sao nó lại chạy như thế, không biết tại sao nó lại ra những cái số như thế. Thì và nó có rất là nhiều feature mình gần như không dùng hết đấy, trong khi mình chỉ có mỗi một cái mong muốn đấy là lưu lại những cái khoảng vài triệu giao dịch và mình tính toán ở trên mấy triệu giao dịch ấy thôi. Đó, thì ở góc nhìn của một developer thì mình thấy là cái này mình không control được, mình không gọi là biết được xem là nó có những sai số gì, rồi là tại sao nó lại ra cái dữ liệu như thế. Đó, thì lúc đấy thì mình mới quyết định là ok, thế thì bây giờ mình không dùng được tool nên mình tự dựng. Thì trong cái góc nhìn của mình lúc đấy thì một cái hệ thống về báo cáo dữ liệu với cái yêu cầu đơn giản như thế, mình làm đúng những yêu cầu như thế luôn. Đấy, là ở đây mình có những cái database nguồn. Database nguồn nó sẽ chứa cái giao dịch chính. Đấy, thì mình bắt đầu viết một cái con gọi là worker để mình lấy cái dữ liệu từ những cái nguồn đấy. Thì thật ra là cái này nó rất là đơn giản, nó là cái cron job chạy CRL để mình get API, mình lấy dữ liệu ra thôi. Đó, sau đấy thì mình dùng một cái database mà công ty mình dùng rất là phổ biến hồi đấy là MySQL. Ok, mình lưu vào trong MySQL. Rồi, sau đấy thì mình có tạo thêm một cái dashboard, có dashboard để mình truy vấn vào cái thằng MySQL đấy, lấy báo cáo. Ok, thì cái hệ thống này nó cũng work, nhưng mà tuổi thọ của nó thì không được dài lắm, nó chỉ được có 4 tháng là mình phải đập đi viết lại. Bởi vì sao? Bởi vì là lúc đấy thì khi mà mình chọn thằng MySQL nó là cái database chính cho analytics của mình ấy, thì thằng MySQL nó đều được thiết kế cho cái workload gọi là OLTP, là Online Transaction Processing, tức là những cái hệ thống hoạt động bình thường. Còn cái yêu cầu của bọn mình đấy là hệ thống Online Analytics Processing, tức là mình cần những cái query rất là phức tạp về thống kê, rồi là về tính toán, về aggregate. Thì thằng MySQL nó lại chưa được mạnh cái đấy lắm. Nó chưa được mạnh cái đấy lắm. Đó, và thằng MySQL nó chỉ support một vài cái kiểu dữ liệu cơ bản thôi, kiểu như là in hay là string, các kiểu varchar các thứ thôi. Đấy, chứ bọn mình thì lại cần những cái dữ liệu mà nó khá là phức tạp, kiểu như là nó cần phải nest này, rồi là nó phải có những cái custom data type khác nữa. Đấy, thì nó đang bị có cái sự khác nhau giữa cái thằng mà mình chọn để làm database và cái mà bọn mình đang muốn. Hoặc là thằng MySQL này được thiết kế cho cái việc là những cái hệ thống mà read nó read rất là nhanh, nhưng mà nó chỉ là read nhanh với cái số lượng bản ghi trả về nhỏ trong cái tập dataset lớn. Đấy, chứ còn nếu mà bây giờ mình muốn là mình aggregate, tức là mình cộng tất cả những cái bản ghi khoảng độ một vài triệu bản ghi lại chẳng hạn, thì nó làm rất là tệ. Đấy, thì đấy là lý do tại sao mà mình phải đập cả cái hệ thống ấy đi, mình viết lại nó bằng đến version 2. Đó, thì như ở cái chỗ trước thì mình có nói là cái hệ thống của mình nó phải là hệ thống write here v, bởi vì là mình liên tục mình kéo dữ liệu về, mình update vào trong DB. Đó, và cái tải write của mình sẽ nhiều hơn là việc user vào xem báo cáo. Thế thì lúc đấy mình mới bắt đầu nghĩ đến một cái con write tốt hơn, đấy là thằng MongoDB. Nó là thằng NoSQL. Thì sau đấy mình bắt đầu thay cái con MongoDB thay con MySQL bằng MongoDB. Thì ok, là cái việc write của nó rất là tốt. Mình có thể ghi dữ liệu vào rất là nhanh, rất là đủ, chứa được dữ liệu lớn lên đến hàng vài trăm gig đến cả T. Thế nhưng mà nó lại có một cái vấn đề rất là dở hơi từ việc thiết kế của nó, đấy là nó là document. Cái thiết kế của nó là dạng gọi là denormalize. Thế thì vì nó denormalize, thế nên là bọn mình sẽ không thể đi kiểu query nó, mình không thể query nó gọi là on demand được. Tại sao? Bởi vì là nó chậm. Tức là ok, nó vẫn sẽ rất là nhanh nếu mà mình get một vài bản ghi ra. Đó, bởi vì nó chỉ liên quan đến những bản ghi thôi. Nhưng mà nếu mà mình muốn gọi là lại đi cộng khoảng độ 1 triệu bản ghi với nhau, thì thằng này nó làm khá là tệ. Đấy, mặc dù là nó có cái cơ chế hay là thằng là map reduce, nhưng mà cái việc aggregate của nó nhìn chung là vẫn là tệ. Đấy, thế nên là chỗ này mình lại phải tiếp cận theo một cái hướng khác, đấy là mình gần như là mình tính trước hết toàn bộ cái chỉ số. Đấy, tức là mình sẽ tính là theo ngày thì doanh thu bao nhiêu, theo giờ doanh thu bao nhiêu, tính trước hết, mình lưu sẵn vào trong con Mongo này rồi, để ra một cái con tính trước. Đó. Thế thì hệ thống này nó cũng work. Nó cũng đáp ứng được cái độ lớn dữ liệu của mình trong một khoảng thời gian là 2 tháng. Sau đấy thì khi mà cái yêu cầu về business nó phức tạp hơn, mọi người muốn là khi mà tôi vào dashboard tôi muốn query custom cơ, chứ tôi không muốn là xem trước những cái dữ liệu đã được tính trước như thế này. Đấy thì đến lúc đấy là bọn mình lại phải đập đi. Mình lại phải đập đi lần thứ 3. Đấy, sau 6 tháng đến là lần thứ 3 mình đập đi. Thì lúc này mình mới được một anh gọi là bạn của anh sếp tư vấn là mày thử dùng Postgre đi. Ok. Thì khi mà làm việc với thằng Postgre này thì mình có tổ chức lại cái chỗ phần lưu trữ của mình, thì mình có phân ra ở đây có hai cái loại DB mà mình đang dùng ở trong hệ thống. Một thì mình gọi nó là data lake, tức là khi mà mình phải kéo dữ liệu từ rất là nhiều nguồn khác nhau về thì phải có một chỗ chứa chung. Đấy, và cái chỗ chứa và những cái dữ liệu từ nguồn khác nhau nó có những cái format khác nhau này, rồi là nó có cái độ size số khác nhau các thứ. Thì cái chỗ chứa chung đấy nó nên là một con NoSQL. Đấy, chứ còn nếu mà bây giờ mình dùng một con SQL ở đấy, mình lại phải define ra cái schema cho nó. Đấy, và khi thằng data nguồn thằng này nó thay đổi thì mình lại phải đổi cái schema của mình. Nó rất là mất công và nó hay gây lỗi. Đấy, thế nên là mình vẫn giữ nguyên con Mongo ở đây để mình collect hết tất cả cái data từ các bên về. Ok. Thì mình gọi cái quá trình mà lấy dữ liệu không rồi cho vào con Mongo này là quá trình gọi là ETL1, là extract transform load lần đầu tiên. Thì ở đây thì mình sẽ gọi là mình sẽ feed hết tất cả những cái dữ liệu liên quan đến cái data đấy vào trong con Mongo để coi như là một cái kho chứa chung ấy. Đó. Sau đấy thì mình đẻ thêm một cái con gọi là data warehouse đi, tức là con này phục vụ chuyên cho truy vấn. Chứ là chuyên cho truy vấn thì nó sẽ phục vụ chủ yếu là các cái query dạng OLAP, Analytics. Đó, thì mình sẽ có một con worker nữa để chuyển hết dữ liệu từ con Mongo là cái chỗ chứa chung vào cái thằng Postgre là cái mà chuyên cho query ấy. Đấy, thì cái con này nó sẽ làm cái nhiệm vụ là nó biến những cái dữ liệu không có cấu trúc cụ thể, rồi là nó biến những cái dữ liệu sai lệch, rồi là tức là nó gần như nó tiền xử lý để nó thành cái dữ liệu có cấu trúc mà bọn mình query được và sao cho nó nhanh. Đấy. Ok, thì đây là cái kiến trúc lần thứ 3 với con Postgre của mình. Thì khá là ok, là mình thấy nó rất là phù hợp với cái thằng OLAP. Bởi vì sao? Bởi vì thằng Postgre nó hỗ trợ rất là nhiều cái dạng custom data type. Đó, sau khi mà các bạn làm với OLAP thì sẽ thấy là tôi cần rất là nhiều các cái dữ liệu, nó không phải là số hay là nó là string bình thường, nó có thể là binary và bên trong nó chứa dữ liệu, rồi nó có thể là JSON các thứ nữa. Đấy, thứ hai đấy là thằng Postgre này nó cái aggregate của nó rất là nhanh. Nó có thể, tức là trong một query mình có thể access đến cả triệu bản ghi trong một gọi là millisecond thôi. Đấy. Có rất nhiều cái tính năng cho thằng OLAP, thì như kiểu là window function, rồi là material view các thứ. Đó. Và thằng này rất là dễ mở rộng nữa. Nó có thể rất là dễ mở rộng qua cái ngôn ngữ lập trình PLPG, SQL và cái plugin. Thì cái plugin của nó thì các bạn có thể thấy cái tác dụng ngay ở phần sau của cái bài trình bày này. Rồi, là mình đã dùng một số cái plugin để mình gọi là xử lý cái bài toán đếm như thế nào. Ok, thế tuy nhiên là nó cũng có một số cái dở mà bọn mình chủ yếu là gặp khi vận hành. Đó, liên quan đến cái việc là thằng Postgre nó bị, lúc đấy của bọn mình bị phụ thuộc vào vertical scaling. Tức là để mà tăng cái khả năng xử lý cho cái cụm Postgre thì chỉ có cách là nâng phần cứng lên thôi, tăng CPU lên, tăng RAM lên. Tại vì nó là một con centralized SQL. Đó, nó không gọi là chia ra được nhiều server. Tức là nó có thể tăng cái read bằng replica, nhưng mà nói chung là mình vẫn sẽ phải tăng CPU, tăng mem lên. Đó. Thứ hai đấy là vì nó có rất là nhiều tính năng advanced, nên là nếu mà muốn sử dụng nó tốt thì cái việc learn nó rất là take time. Đó, bản chất là mình phải mất 6 tháng mới xây xong được cái hệ thống thứ 3 này. Chỉ để ngồi tối ưu query Postgre. Đấy. Và một điểm nữa đấy là thằng Postgre này thì cái việc connection pool của nó khá là tệ. Mình thấy nó khá là tệ và nó support rất là ít. Thế nên là gần như là ai cũng sẽ phải dùng một thằng connection pooler bên ngoài. Thì cái việc setup thằng bên ngoài này nó làm tăng cái gọi là tăng cái độ phức tạp của hệ thống lên. Đó. Thế nhưng mà đây mới là cái phần gọi là dở hơi nhất mà khi mà mình làm việc với Postgre, là lúc đấy mà mình làm việc ở version 9.5. Đó. Thì thật sự là vào năm 2016 rất khó để set up một cái cluster Postgre đúng chuẩn. Đó, mình đã phải đọc một cái series gồm 6 bài blog chỉ để set up thằng Postgre này với pgpool. 6 bài blog và bài nào cũng dài như cái sớ luôn. Đó. Rất khó, chứ còn không như bây giờ có rất là nhiều giải pháp để set up một cái cluster Postgre giống như kiểu là dùng Patroni các thứ. Nhưng mà hồi đấy không có. Rất khó. Đấy thì với một developer như mình, công ty cũng chưa hay có kinh nghiệm cả, thì bây giờ tự nhiên phải ngồi set up cả cái cụm Postgre này nó mất thời gian. Đó. Hồi đấy thì ở bản 9 thì cái việc mà mình partition dữ liệu nó cũng chưa support built-in. Đấy, cũng lại phải dùng cái plugin bên ngoài và quản lý bằng tay rất là mệt. Nhưng mà từ bản 10 nó built-in rồi. Đó, ok. Và cái thốn nhất ở đây nó là cái việc upgrade version. Đấy thì lúc đấy mình nhớ là ở cái version 9.1.2 gì đấy thì thằng Postgre nó chỉ có physical replicate thôi. Tức là một cái cluster Postgre đang chạy thì gần như là các bạn sẽ phải tắt hẳn nó đi để upgrade. Các bạn không upgrade gọi là online được. Đấy, thì lúc đấy nó đang bị những cái vấn đề như này. Tất nhiên là sau những cái bản sau này thì nó đã khác rồi, nó đã improve rất là nhiều rồi, nhưng mà lúc đấy thì đây là những cái pain lớn nhất. Ok, thì đến phần này thì mình sẽ chia sẻ một cái bài toán mà bọn mình thường hay phải giải khi làm cái hệ thống xử lý dữ liệu. Đó, nó liên quan đến việc là mình chỉ có đếm thôi. Đấy, cái việc đếm, bài toán về đếm. Thì bài toán về đếm này nó có một cái yêu cầu rất là đơn giản. Đây, mình có một cái dữ liệu, đây là dữ liệu dạng đơn giản hóa đi, tức là mình sẽ cần phải đếm là số lượng user, thì có một cái là user ID và cái thời gian online của nó chẳng hạn, hoặc là thời gian nó xuất hiện. Đấy, tức là bản chất, tức là nó chỉ có hai cái trường dữ liệu thiết yếu là cái đấy thôi. Thế thì bây giờ mình phải đi đếm NRU là new register user, là bao nhiêu user đăng ký mới này, bao nhiêu user active hàng ngày, hàng tuần, hàng tháng, và cái tỷ lệ quay lại của nó là bao nhiêu. Thì tỷ lệ quay lại tức là có bao nhiêu thằng hôm nay vào từ hôm qua. Đấy thì dữ liệu của nó đơn giản này thôi. Metric tính cũng rất đơn giản, nó không có cái gì khó ở đây cả. Thế nhưng mà cái mà vấn đề thực sự ở đây nó lại liên quan đến cái data size. Tức là cái hệ thống của mình là hệ thống có 30 triệu user rồi. Đó, và cái game của Apota lúc đấy thì user nó online nó cũng khá là nhiều. Mỗi ngày chắc là cũng phải cỡ vài trăm nghìn đến cả triệu. Đó thì cái data size nó rất lớn. Thì khi data size nó rất lớn này, nó dẫn đến cái vấn đề là những cái phép tính rất đơn giản như là đếm thôi nó cũng mất thời gian và cái performance này rất là kém. Đó, performance này rất là kém. Thứ hai, vì data size lớn thế nên là cái việc mà mình intersect hoặc union, tức là mình giao giữa các cái tập hợp user để mình tính cái tỷ lệ nó quay lại chẳng hạn, rất khó, bởi vì nó rất là nặng. Đấy, bây giờ cứ mỗi một tập hợp đấy là có độ 100.000 phần tử đi, cho hai cái tập hợp đấy giao với nhau thì thấy nó rất là lâu. Đó, đây thì mình ví dụ ở đây có một mình thử insert vào khoảng là 3 triệu row, 3 triệu cái data vừa xong, cái data mình vừa mới sâu ở phần trước ấy, thì nó đang chiếm khoảng 100 MB. Các bạn có thể thấy là có 3 triệu row 100 MB thì có cái gì mà to. Thế nhưng mà đấy là data sample thôi. Còn cái data thực tế nó sẽ có thêm rất là nhiều các cái metric khác, như kiểu là nó là dữ liệu của game nào này, nó là access từ thiết bị nào, tức là nó có rất là nhiều metric khác, và cái data chỗ này nó tăng lên rất là nhiều lần. Đấy, thì đấy là cái problem. Thì cái approach đầu tiên mà mình có thể nghĩ đến đấy là trong cái dữ liệu ban đầu này thì mình thấy là có rất là nhiều cái việc là nó lưu trùng data. Trùng thì không phải là trùng, nó không, tức là data nó không phải là trùng, mà tức là data nó có cái phần lặp lại. Ví dụ như phần ngày tháng chẳng hạn. Đấy, với hai user này tự nhiên mất hai row để mình lưu user ID và ngày tháng, trong khi là cái phần ngày tháng là cái phần dữ liệu lặp lại. Ok, thì mình có nghĩ đến cái giải pháp đầu tiên đấy là mình dùng cái in array. In array này tức là bây giờ mình gộp hết tất cả user nó thành một cái mảng chung. Đó, đây là một cái module built-in của thằng Postgre nhá. Đó, thì mình đã giảm được cái dữ liệu xuống còn 10 MB. Thế tuy nhiên là mình vẫn và cái phần cao này nó nhanh hơn này, tức là đếm số phần tử ở trong một cái kia nó rất là nhanh rồi. Nhưng cái việc mà intersect và union giữa các cái tập hợp đấy nó vẫn lâu. Đó. Thì sau đấy thì mình có tìm hiểu thêm một cái kiểu dữ liệu tính gần đúng nữa, thằng hyperlog. Đấy, thì mình có thể giảm cái size của nó xuống còn chỉ có 72 key thôi, từ 100 MB xuống còn 72 key thôi. Nhưng cái vấn đề của nó là đây là một thuật toán tính gần đúng, tức là số mình đưa ra nó không chuẩn, nó có sai số và mình thường keep cái sai số ở mức khoảng 2%. Đấy, thì các bạn có thể cái này có thể cài qua plugin của bên Ctut. Đấy, thì cái việc mà nó estimate cao ở trong cái tập hợp đấy rất nhanh, bởi vì nó data nó bé quá mà. Đấy, nhưng mà thằng này nó chỉ support mỗi cái việc là union thôi, nó không support intersect, bởi mình không thể biết được chính xác là có những phần tử nào trong cái tập hợp đấy. Đấy, nó chỉ lưu một cái dạng gọi là estimate thôi. Đấy. Thì đây là hai cái phương pháp mà bọn mình đã dùng thời đấy. Thì tuy nhiên là bây giờ thì có một cái kiểu dữ liệu nữa, đấy là bitmap. Đó. Và roaring bitmap thì nó là kiểu dữ liệu compress của thằng bitmap. Thì cái mindset lưu bitmap này nó khá là khác biệt, là cái việc mình sẽ có một cái dãy 010101 như này, và khi mà có một cái user ID nào đấy nó có trong tập hợp thì mình set cái bit tại vị trí đấy lên số 1. Đó. Thì thằng này được cái là size của nó thì cũng nhỏ, 2 MB thôi. Tức là toàn bộ cái dữ liệu 100 MB của mình xuống còn 2 MB. Đó, nhưng mà nó sẽ cho cái khả năng intersect và union rất nhanh. Bởi vì là nó là các cái chuỗi bit kết hợp với nhau thì cái xử lý nó rất là nhanh. Nhưng cái dở của nó đấy là nó chỉ support mỗi number thôi. Tức là bạn không thể lưu user ID dạng string vào đây được. Đó, chỉ có user ID dạng number thì mình mới làm được cái trò này thôi. Đấy, thì đấy là 3 cách mà mình đã làm. Thì thời đấy thì chưa có cái plugin running bitmap này. Mình đang định viết một cái thì mình nghỉ công ty mất rồi. Nhưng mà bây giờ nó đã có và nó chạy rất stable. Đấy, mình đã thử test và kết quả rất ok. Ok. Rồi. Ok, thì đấy là cái phần toàn bộ cái phần trình bày của mình liên quan đến xây dựng hệ thống analytics. Thì không biết là có bạn nào có câu hỏi gì cho mình không?
Em có câu hỏi. Trên thị trường có rất nhiều thằng để làm cái hệ thống data analytics liên quan data warehouse, thì có một thằng nổi tiếng, thằng ClickHouse. Thì em muốn hỏi là tại sao không chọn ClickHouse mà chọn Kothari?
Ok, thì mình cũng xin trả lời luôn, đấy là ở vào năm 2016 thì thằng ClickHouse lúc đấy mới được public release ra thôi, chứ nó chưa phổ biến như bây giờ đâu. Bây giờ thì ok là mình có thể chọn ClickHouse, nhưng cái thời điểm đấy thì thằng ClickHouse nó mới ra và nó gần lúc đấy như kiểu mình thì mình không hề biết đến nó. Đấy, và những cái người gọi là trong ngành ở Việt Nam thì mình cũng hỏi cũng chưa thấy ai biết thằng đấy cả. Đó, thì các bạn có thể xem lại cái lịch sử là năm 2016 thì thằng đấy nó mới được release, hình như là release public
3 năm.
Đấy, thì tức là nó đã phát triển trước đấy rồi, nhưng mà đến 2016 nó mới public ra, hoặc là nó mới có một cái big release nào đấy. Thế thì thật sự là có rất là ít người dùng. Đấy, và cái thứ hai là như hiện tại sau khi mà mình thiết kế cái hệ thống analytics cho công ty hiện tại nhá, mình vẫn dùng Postgre. Tại vì sao? Không phải vì mình quen, mà vì setup cái thằng ClickHouse kia nó sẽ có rất là nhiều thành phần, nó rất phức tạp.
Nhưng mà nó sẽ giải quyết được rất nhiều vấn đề mà.
Đúng không? Chính xác. Đấy thì ok là bạn sẽ phải bỏ cái công sức của bạn vào cái việc setup nó và cái việc và cái maintain nó. Thì ok thì nó là đánh đổi thôi. Đấy, mình thì gọi là simple is the best, cái gì mà nó vẫn đang kiểu mình vẫn có thể xử lý được bằng những cái công cụ gọi là nó thường gọi là thường xuyên sử dụng ấy, mà mọi người quen thuộc với nó ấy, thì mình sẽ sử dụng thay vì mình chọn một cái công cụ mới hoàn toàn.
Ok, rồi.
Ok. Các bạn.
Hello anh Minh, em có một câu hỏi này là anh có đề cập tới cái performance của aggregate function của Postgre, thì em hỏi tại sao cái aggregate function của Postgre nó lại tốt hơn so với MySQL chẳng hạn. Vâng, đây là câu hỏi em.
Ok, thì mình nói thật luôn là cái này mình không biết. Cái này chỉ có đi ngồi test thôi, chứ còn vì còn thật sự là ở phía dưới mà nó đã sử dụng cái gì mà tại sao aggregate nó lại nhanh như thế thì đúng là mình không biết. Ok.
Rồi, rồi.
Mình cũng rất quan tâm đến vấn đề Postgre vì hiện tại ở công ty mình thì cũng đang dùng Postgre rất là nhiều. Thì bên mình cũng thấy Minh đề cập một cái điểm chưa tốt của Postgre ấy, đó là pooling ấy. Thì muốn Minh chia sẻ sâu hơn cái vấn đề điểm dầu của thằng pooling của Postgre đấy.
Ok, thì tức là ban đầu thì thằng connection pooling của cái connection pool của thằng Postgre thì nó support cái lượng connection khá là nhỏ thôi. Lúc init thì nó chỉ khoảng độ 100 đến 100, không biết là mình nhớ là 50 100 gì đấy thôi. Tức là cái con số rất là ít, và cái việc mình tăng lên nó gây quá tải cho database. Bởi vì là internal thì với mỗi một cái connection đến thì thằng Postgre hình như là nó sẽ fork ra một cái kiểu tức là kiểu một cái tài nguyên riêng để xử lý, thế nên là nó rất là tốn. Đấy, nên là cái việc là kể cả mình có tăng cái limit đấy lên thì với nhiều connection đến thằng Postgre thì nó cũng vẫn tèo, ở database nó sẽ tèo thôi. Thế nên là mình sẽ cần phải có những cái thằng connection pooling đứng trước, như kiểu là thằng PG pool hoặc là để nó reuse lại cái tài nguyên cho mỗi connection của thằng DB, và nó nhóm được những cái query của application vào cùng một connection thôi. Đó, thì đấy là lý do tại sao mà cần phải dùng những thằng connection pooling. Đó.
Ok, hiện tại thì bên mình đang gặp cái vấn đề là cái Postgre ấy, khi rất nhiều các cái collection truy vấn vào server ấy thì bị hiện tượng là nó phải chọc vào database rất là nhiều để nó lấy về các cái tham số của cái thủ tục ấy. Cái việc đấy nó gây cho tốn cái hiệu năng, cái performance của server. Đấy, thì không biết là chỗ mình có gợi ý được cái đấy không?
Cái này thì đấy, như kiểu mình đã nói thì bạn có thể dùng một thằng connection pooler, và nó thằng đấy nó rất là nổi tiếng đấy, thằng PG Bouncer. Đấy, thằng PG Bouncer nó có nhiều cái mode để nó xử lý cái việc là pooling, như kiểu là pooling theo từng connection này, pooling theo từng client, hoặc là pooling theo từng query một luôn. Đấy, thì đấy là thằng chuyên về pooling. Còn như mình trước đây thì mình có dùng thằng PG Pool 2 thì nó còn liên quan đến cái việc là mình chia tải ra những cái con replica nữa. Tức là những cái query read thì nó sẽ được chia tải ra cả những con replica, còn query write nó sẽ chỉ đi vào master thôi. Đó. Đấy, thì đấy là hai cái giải pháp mà mình đã từng dùng. Còn nếu mà bạn không cần phải chia tải như thế, thì có thể dùng thằng PG Bouncer là được. Thằng đấy thì chuyên polling rồi.
Ok. Xin có một câu hỏi nữa. Bên mình thì cũng có cái bài toán xem giống chỗ mình ấy. Thì có cái bài toán đó là bên mình nó có tính dữ liệu theo ngày, theo tháng và theo quý. Đấy, thì cũng cái lúc mà mình chưa biết đến ClickHouse ấy thì ngày xưa cũng dùng Postgre, nhưng mà bên mình tính bằng cách là mình vì dữ liệu là đã trải qua rồi thì nó ít thay đổi, nên mình tính trước theo tháng.
Tính trước đúng không?
Tính theo tháng, tính hết xong bắt đầu có những cái bảng, những cái table by month, table by quarter tức là theo quý, table by year đấy, sau đó là chỉ tính dữ liệu theo ngày thôi, còn đâu theo tháng cứ thế là lấy của tháng nào cứ lấy ra. Đấy.
Ok, nhưng mà mình thì mình cũng muốn trả lời, chắc là mình sẽ ra trả lời bạn riêng sau, bởi vì bây giờ cũng đến session của các diễn giả khác ấy. Ok, mình cảm ơn các bạn nhé.
Yeah, thanks to speaker. We have to stop now because the next talk is at 9:30. Is the speaker available for the next talk? It's on. It's on. Yeah. Yes, please. Have you used IT in the computer or?
Before we start, we all know we lost a person last month. Let's quickly pray for cyber risk. who was a great man of Postgres. May he rest in peace. Xin chào. Nice to meet you. I feel honored to be here. I want to thank to the organizers at PostgreSQL for providing me with the opportunity to give this presentation. The title of my presentation is Parallel Loading a single copy data file using the PGM copy. I am very nervous. Sorry. This presentation explains the various tips and the result of consideration on how to load a very large single file data set into the database as quickly as possible. Let's begin. I am Ioseph Kim from South Korea. I arrived yesterday with co-workers here. My Korean name, no. My Korean name is Kim Sang-gi. Ioseph is my Catholic name. I've been using Postgres in production since version 6.5. It's a very long time. Come to think of it, Postgres has improved a lot since that time. I'm reading PostgreSQL DBAs at KTDS. KTDS is Korea Telecom Data System, a subsidiary at KT, Korea Telecom. My duty is the governance of a stable version of PostgreSQL used at KT. I guide DBA operation about Postgres and also development to how to use Postgres on new SI projects. And I search for root causes of instance or problems, and then I find workarounds. I formed the Korean PostgreSQL user group in 2005. I have been a member committee. I have been a member of committee of PG Days Seoul event since 2016. PG Days Seoul event will be held, and this year will be 9th of it. Would it be okay? I hope to see you in Seoul this fall. This is my email. Here are the contents. Here are contents. I will talking about the history about parallel PostgreSQL. And next, I will describe the sample data for importing and exporting. Again, I changed the subparameters for that work. Explain that the copy command has a limitation. I made the PGN copy and tested it, and I will explain how to improve create index. And lastly, I would like to offer suggestion to PGDZ group, Postgres Global Development Group for parallel copy processing. This is history. In version 9.6 and 10, parallelization of basic select queries was initiated. That was the beginning. In version 11, parallelized the DDL command like create index, alt tables, add primary key. In version 12, client programs became able to parallelize the multiple tables which led to reduce the working hours of DBA. In version 13, vacuum operations was parallelized. The important things here is that when a table has multiple indexes, Postgres parallelized each index screening operation very well, but still, it cannot parallelize a very single tables screening operation. Version 14 enables parallelization in multi-instance environments. It was cornerstone for implementing sharding cluster. In version 15, Postgres became able to parallelize to select distinct syntax which had not yet been implemented. In version 16, it can parallelize the full join or right join queries. However, it still cannot parallelize the copy command. This inability is a disadvantage in many ways, especially if you have a lot of materials to load or dump in a single table. Parallel copy command was discussed at length by Postgres Global Development Group in 2020, but has not officially announced yet. My talk today is about exploring the parallelizability of a very simple copy operation. I will explain it with sample materials. In Korea, the government released the government releases hospital material history information every year. Anyone can look at sorry. Anyone can look at the year's materials history of 1 million anonymous patients. The data is about 12 million cases, and the table size is 1.5 gigabytes. To handle the large amount of data, I target 3 years of data. So total data is 37 million rows and 40.5 gigabytes. First, I copied that table to a file. It took 22 seconds. I checked the size of that dump file. It was 30.2 gigabytes. Next, I truncated the table for importing again, and then I copied that table from the file. It took 1 minute. Importing time took 3 times longer than exporting time. The reason is that the server write ahead log and empty data phase to file. It is necessary to configure transaction log writing so that it does not interfere with the data input as much as possible. I changed fsync off, synchronous commit off, and full page writes off. And I made a checkpoint timeout as long as possible. Also, set the transaction log size as large as possible. And then reload this configuration. Let's check again. Before changing configurations 1 minute, and then after changing 46 seconds. it was 25% faster. I wanted to know if there is any way to make it even faster. I still wonder, but here is something I came up with. Wouldn't it be faster to A, set it as an unlocked table, B, input data, and C, return it as a logged table? You can think about it, but time is changing an unlocked table to a logged table is proportional to the amount of data. In other words, it will take longer to input the data as well as to changing the table properties. The \" copy command in PostgreSQL is internally streaming using pipe. Therefore, it cannot be parallelized without pre-processing to 5 parts of the file. Before I work with it, I need to know the file format of the output of the copy operation. The file created by the copy to command is each line, which is a single row. Which is the single row. Each column is separated by a tab character. Characters like null, new line, and tab are replaced with their respective escaping character as column values. The simplest way to import this file is to break it up into multiple tasks and to import the resulting file. To break it up, split it into one in-end files based on the total number of lines. Each of those files will be used with each one PostgreSQL command. You can parallelize the command, copy command, by using the splits command, a Unix command that splits a large file into multiple smaller files. However, the file splitting operation itself takes time. Furthermore, the split process reads the file sequentially and splits it into multiple files. We cannot reduce the time to read the original file sequentially from beginning to end. Here are a second case to solve this problem. I made a new program. The program creates as many threads as it can parallelize, and each thread reads and imports only a part it needs to read. pgmcopy is a multi-thread copy program for PostgreSQL. This program is a prototype. Don't use in production environment. Pseudocode is as follows. Simply write. But these start and endpoints are not exactly in one in-end of the file size. This is because the copy materials has a variable length of one row. So we need to adjust the end of the material to be processed and then adjust the next start position accordingly. It creates enough threads to parallelize each operation with these adjust start and end positions, and each thread releases or satisfies the amount from the file to perform the copy operation. This is performance. Next, so sorry. Okay. This is the data flow in PGM copy. Start right and from right and to left. I asked ChatGPT to write this in C code. It's cheating. Sorry. And the resulting program is PGM copy. Of course, it didn't work. It didn't work as intended at the first attempt. ChatGPT wrote about 95% of the code, and I did some work with buffering and exception handling to make a PGM copy use memory efficiently. Here is the execution history. The final job took 25 seconds. It was twice as fast as PGSQL. Also, I did speed comparison based on the number of threads. This is comparison chart. A single thread took 36 seconds. Meanwhile, 16 threads took 14 seconds. The test machine is like that. It's very fast. As you can see from the chart, when I loaded the data by multi-thread, the inputting time was faster, even though it was a single table. Comparing to a single PGSQL copy operation, I could see that it was more than 4 times faster, from 16 to 15. So far, we haven't considered the table's primary key and index. In production, it is extremely rare. Extremely rare to use a simple table with no attributes like that. Let's think about it. How to input data in a production environment? We need to do 3 works. The first part is the SQL script that creates a table with no attributes. And the second part is to use PGM copy. And last, the script to create constraints and indexes of the table. It's very annoying. Also, when you do this, alt table or create index, maintenance workman and max parallel maintenance workers should be tuned appropriately to speed up. 64 megabyte or memory and 2 workers are a default value. In a typically enterprise database situation, this is too small, especially for large table management tasks like this. I changed them to 6 gigabyte and 6 workers and faster. And faster. 얼마가 될까? 3 minutes to 2 minutes. Because PostgreSQL has the ability to create index in parallel. To conclude my presentation, I'd like to make the following suggestion to PostgreSQL developers. Parallelization of the copy command is a must. if it cannot be implemented on the server side, I would like to see it supported in client programs such as PGSQL, pgdump, and pgrestore. Plan 1, this is for PGSQL. Create a new built-in command called pgmcopy. Command is for output, above and below. Command is the input. Okay. The parallel PG restore or PG dump program is roughly same sort. That's all I have prepared for you today. If you have any questions, email to me. Please email. Thank you for your patience.
Yeah, thank you. Do we have any questions?
Okay, simple question. I didn't understand fully. Do you use threads? Do you utilize different backends, different connections, or you share one connection by multiple threads?
I use the multiple threads.
Yeah.
And one server. Thread 1, thread 2, thread 4. Use each thread.
Shared one backend. Each one. Separate connection. Okay, and keeping into account your long time experience, does it make sense to use threads inside the backend for example, implementation in plan nodes, parallelize scan, for example, or parallelize join with threads? Does it make sense, or it's senseless?
I understand the story.
Hello, everybody. My name is Ilia. I'd like to share with you about my new experimental extension of Postgres, PG Stat Advisor, that can manage your statistics in Postgres. So my presentation consists of these topics. I'll tell you about basic and extended statistics, how can you update them, and especially I told you about my new extension, PostgreSQL Advisor. So let's start off after vacuum daemon. Perhaps everyone knows about that, but I'd like to repeat this about this daemon in the context of statistics. All features of after vacuum you can see in this table, but in the context of statistics, perhaps you know that you can update statistics on your table by analyze command, but by vacuum you can also update some attributes in PG class table that is stored in system catalog. Which attributes can vacuum can update? He can update rel tuples, that means a number of rows in on the table. Rel pages is stored a number of tables that the data is stored in your table, and then rel all visible is the amount is a number of pages that can all transactions can see the pages. So the vacuum can do it, but analyze command cannot update rel all visible. So if you want to to update this attribute,
you should execute vacuum command. So if you want to manage auto vacuum in the context of statistics, you can use these GOOC parameters of auto vacuum. The auto vacuum analyze scale factor and auto vacuum analyze threshold. So if you reached to some updating, deleting, or removing tuples on your table, analyze is executing. Let's see my new experimental extension on the simple example on this. We're creating the table of with 2 columns, but we, for this table, turn off the auto vacuum. You can use by this command. So we're creating the table, and then we'd like to insert rows in your table, but in order to in order not to insert a simple or trivial rows in your table, we fill this table with data with low cardinality. That means if you the cardinality is the ratio of unique unique rows in your table to a number of rows in your table. So we can insert rows by this. In the next command, we insert this data. And what next? As I said, in PG class table is stored these 3 attributes. And as you can see, there is no data on these attributes because we don't collect statistics on this table. So as I said, if you want to update statistics data on your table, you should you have to execute analyze command. For attribute rel tuples is a -1 value. It means that you don't collect statistics at all. But after analyze command, you can see that rel tuples and rel pages are updated, but rel all visible doesn't. But after vacuum command, this parameter is full. So we have another parameter for managing auto vacuum and collecting statistics is default statistics target. This GOOC parameter can control the details of collecting statistics. It means if you have a big number of this parameter, the statistics will be collecting in very number of data. And you should know that if you want to collect a lot of statistics, the common statistics will be executed slowly and can be less effective. We considered the basic statistics, but we have at all tables and at all columns of a table, the statistics are null frag. This is the ratio of the number of null values on your rows and their frequencies. Average width is the average value of your column, and distance is a number of different values of on your column. Common vowels and common fracs is the most common values and their frequencies. And as you can see in this example, the length of histogram bounds is almost the same as default statistics target. Okay, let's move on now to extended statistics. As I said, that if you want to collect on one column, yes, you can do it. But if you have some functional dependencies with 2 columns on the table, or you can, or you want to consider statistics on 2 or more columns, you should use extended statistics. And there are 3 kinds of statistics. There is a dependence and distinct and the most common values, MCV. You can create extended statistics like that. And what is it for? Yes, a simple note. If you executed create statistics command, the statistics is stored in pgstats ext table, and there is no data. Why? Because you should also execute analyze command, and if you don't do this, you have no data. But after doing this, you can see that extended statistics is stored some data, and we execute create statistics by dependencies. As you can see, the first column depends on the second. Okay, we consider a simple example of creating extended statistics, and let's drop this data. And I'd like to consider why we use the extended statistics. I guess you know that the planner should know about statistics on the table, and if we point that we have some dependencies between 2 columns, we can help to the planner to be more effective. So as you can see, we have the estimated rows that shows how a planner works in compare with in the reality. As you can see that right now the planner is predicting the wrong rows. And after creating extended statistics, and don't forget to execute analyze command, as you can see, our estimated estimated rows is similar as the actual rows. Okay, how is related to my new experimental extension? I wanted to suggest or advise some commands that can improve your planner, especially the estimated rows, and suggest and sometimes suggest executing analyze command when your statistics is old after some big or high insertion rows. That's why I wrote a PostgreSQL advisor extension. And how to use and what does it consist of? This extension is a simple hook that we turn off in explain command, and you can use this extension either by load load command, or you can write in the main configure of PostgreSQL.conf. And this extension has two main GOOC parameters. The first, analyze scale factor, that show you when my extension suggests executing analyze command. How does it work? I show you the following slide, and suggest statistics threshold that help to suggest creating statistics. So let's consider our simple example. Let's drop statistics and insert the same data that we inserted earlier. And let's consider the first GOOC parameter, analyze scale factor. So what happens if we set this parameter? This parameter does the following. If I guess you know that in Postgres there the table that is called pg start all tables that contains information about your table and columns with about auto vacuum information, and we can use this information. And what since analyze is the attribute of pg start all table table, sorry, and that shows that how many rows that are not proceed by analyze command, and lift up is the number of rows that are visible for all transactions. So we divided one parameter to another, and if it is greater than our GOOC parameter, after executing explain analyze command and our select that we considered at previous slides, we can see that the planner give us a message about we should should execute analyze command, and of course our estimated rows is low in comparison with actual rows. So the message is appeared, and you can run this command. But after that, if you use the next GOOC parameter of my extension, that is the ratio of estimated rows to actual rows. If it's less than my GOOC parameter, the next suggestion message is that you can create statistics. The main feature of this extension that you don't execute these commands directly. It's just suggest to execute it, and you don't have to execute them. So because of our estimated rows divided by actual rows is less than our GOOC parameter, this notice is appeared, and after creating our statistics and of course executing analyze, there is no suggestion messages, and our estimated rows is the similar as actual rows. So that's all that I want to say. That's my QR codes to my social medias, and this presentation and source code of my extension is my GitHub page. If you have questions, I can perhaps I might answer them.
Okay,
that's all.
Any questions from the audience? Yes.
Hey, nice presentation, Ilia. So what's the roadmap for the extension?
Where? Here, or
now, what's the roadmap? The future roadmap? What are you going to extend on? Yeah, next set of features are going to get into the
the
extension.
features. Yeah. This, yeah. I just show you this slide because I wanna tell you about the main features of our after vacuum and explain in the context of statistics, only on statistics, and this is only the main features, but perhaps there are a lot of features in after vacuum, and I think that's all.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Yes.
Thanks. Do you try to avoid false positive recommendations, or maybe you resolve this problem somehow? What I mean? Sometimes in Postgres we have a lot of optimizations when we don't read tables totally. For example, if one side of join is zeroed, you don't read another, or if you have merge join, you can't need to read all the data from the table.
Good question. I have forgotten to tell you about this. My extension just works with only select commands, not join, not merge. I think in the future I'm developing this. Only so this extension works with only select commands with where filter.
Where you have joins, you doesn't provide any recommendation?
I try to develop it, and it recommends useless messages.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Any further questions from the audience? Well, not, then let's thank the speaker again.
Yes, thank you.
We have a break now till 11 o'clock. Please take the time to take a coffee or anything.
We are continuing our PG day with the next talk. The speaker is going to introduce himself, but this is the keynote. So thank you for coming. I'll let the microphone to Gary.
Thanks. It's great to see so many interesting talks at the conference here. So really appreciate you coming along to this talk. When I was asked to do the keynote, it was a little challenging, sort of, what to choose as a subject. And I thought at these conferences, open source, it's very easy to end up getting involved so technically that it's easy to lose sight of the forest for the trees sometimes. So taking that into account and the number of students, and it's great to see so many students at this event embarking on their journey in technology. I thought it'd be good to talk about a couple of topics. The first one was what you can get out of being a member of the community. Quite often we talk about this from the perspective of technological innovation generated by open source, and we also talk about what community members get to their community when they participate. But we don't often talk about what you can get personally out of being a member of a community. So I thought that'd be a really good thing to talk about with so many people coming out of university and perhaps looking to join a community. My name's Gary Evans. As he said, I've been working at Fujitsu for a number of years.
Can you make it a little closer?
A little closer, is that better?
Yeah,
sure.
please.
So I've been working at Fujitsu for a number of years and on projects that range from the very commercial to very open. And it's given me a bit of a unique perspective over the years. So the second part of the talk, I'll talk about that symbiotic relationship between open source and the commercial organizations that rely on those projects. I think over the last few years, there's been a change in that relationship. The dynamics have changed a bit. And I think that comes down to one factor in particular. So I'm going to talk about what that factor is and how it changes that relationship and what that means to you and your involvement in a project. I thought I'd begin by telling a little story from my book of Data Tales. It's about PostgreSQL, so I'll read this out. So once upon a time in the vast land of database kingdoms, there lived a wise old database called PostgreSQL. PostgreSQL was known throughout the lands for being a reliable, powerful database, and most importantly, its generous spirit of open source. One day, a young developer embarked on a quest to find a database that was suitable for its project that he intended to use. He traveled through the valleys of Oracle, across the plains of MySQL, and over the hills of MongoDB. Each database offered him promises and gifts of speed, scalability, and simplicity, yet the developer felt something was missing. He finally arrived at the gates of PostgreSQL. Why should I choose you, PostgreSQL, over the others, he asked. And PostgreSQL, with a twinkle in its process, said, well, young developer, unlike others, I offer you not just performance, but wisdom, not just transactions, but trust, and not just data, but a community. And for every query you ask, I shall provide an answer, and every problem a solution. But most importantly, I offer you freedom, for I am open source. And the developer, intrigued, decided to give it a try. And as he worked with PostgreSQL, he discovered its true power, not just in its features, but in the support and community around it. Impressed and inspired, he knew he'd found his database. Years passed, and his project grew very successful. And he was at a FOSSASIA conference one day, and someone asked him, why did you choose PostgreSQL for your project? And he said, well, PostgreSQL didn't just store my data, it captured my heart. And I think, and I guess I like the story and wanted to present the story because I think it encapsulates the essence of PostgreSQL and probably other open source projects as well. In that it's not just a reliable, powerful database, but it's a community-driven project that values collaboration and freedom, and that's really important. Open source projects thrive on their communities, and I think PostgreSQL is more successful and stronger communities out there, and the fact that we have a PG Day sub-conference event is a real testament to the community behind PostgreSQL. Community, collaboration, I think they're core values of open source projects, and they're key in the success of projects. I don't think I've ever seen a PostgreSQL project, an open source project that's been successful without a good community behind it. And the collaboration and the relationships that you make at this conference are what are going to build the success of those projects we see here and emerging projects that we're going to see next year and the year after at this event. The concept of open source is a driving force in technical innovation. I think it's well established, so I didn't want to talk about that today. But if we think about it, there's some very well notable characters here from various technologies back to 80 years ago, with Richard Stillman with the Free Software Foundation, and also Eric Raymond wrote the essay, "The Cathedral and the Bazaar must be getting on to 20 to 25 years ago." I read that. So I don't know the new generation coming through, whether you're familiar with that book, but it's certainly worth having a read to get an understanding what open source is all about. So rather than talk about technical advancement or what you can do for your community, I'm just going to talk a little bit about what you can get out of being a member of an open source project. Now, the flow of knowledge and skills and ideas, also provides members with opportunities for personal growth. So leading up to this conference, I was thinking about, well, what motivates people to be members of open source communities? And I came up with 5. You might be able to think of some others. So I thought we'd do a little bit of audience participation and get a feel for what are the big motivators for people here to be a member of the community that they're in, or even thinking about joining. So the first one I came up with was professional growth and development. Joining a community gives you the opportunity to work with cutting edge technologies, learn about new frameworks, learn about new languages, learn about the best practices associated with things. Also gives you the opportunity to learn soft skills like leadership skills, effective communication, and that type of thing. So that's the first one I came up with. The second one's networking and community engagement. Some people love networking opportunities and connecting with people from all over the world with like minds and like thoughts. And it provides opportunities, I think, also to advance your careers as well. There's also that warmer and fuzzier side, giving some people a sense of belonging and identity within a community. So that was number 2. So have a think about whether that applies to you. And then personal fulfillment and empowerment was the third one I come up with. I think developers love to express creativity and innovate. That's what they do best. I'm not really a developer anymore. I do more management activities, but I dabble now and then, and I wrote a bit of code the other day using a combination of some regular expressions and some of the generated column capability in PostgreSQL, and it was pretty cool. I really enjoyed it, so I could really appreciate the buzz that members of the community, obviously far smarter than I, get out of some of the contributions that they make to these projects. And we've seen some great examples of that at this conference. There's been some really cool stuff. So I look forward to seeing some more. And then fourthly, there's that feeling of contributing to the greater good. There's a lot of projects out there that you can belong to where you can feel like you're making a real life impact on society and different communities. A couple that I could think of off the top of my head was the Open MRS, a medical records activity, and ACFO, which was sort of like management tools that provide some transparency to avoid tool and fraud and humanitarian projects and things like that. So I'm sure there's plenty of those projects if that's a motivator to get involved with. And then lastly, money, of course. There's a lot of organizations and sponsors here like AWS and Fujitsu itself. We pay 7 or 8 developers to work full-time just on the open source PostgreSQL project. I think recently they're doing the logical replication feature, and my colleague Nishchay will be talking about that next and how that works. So so they're the 5 I thought of. So I thought let's do a bit of a show of hands for each one and just see which ones you feel might be a motivator for you. Because to be honest, I've got no idea. I know what applies to me. So if I read through each one individually, if you put your hands up, I'll be very disappointed if no one does. So professional growth and development, who thinks that would be a good motivator for them to join a community? Okay, we've got a few. Hopefully, yeah. Networking and community engagement. Is that someone? Yeah, okay, same people, that's great. And personal fulfillment and empowerment. Yeah, that's good. Looks like all of these are equal motivators, I suspect. I suspect maybe everyone's going to put their hand up for money. But contribution to the greater good. Who feels, yeah, okay, there's a few there. And money. Okay, I got to be honest, I didn't learn anything there in that, but that was fun. It was good to see. Thanks for your participation. The second thing I wanted to talk about was a change that I've noticed over the last few years in my role. I was looking through some diagrams, like ecosystem diagrams, so product ecosystem maps, product landscape maps, and even technological landscapes. And they've grown significantly. There's a lot more organizations and products appearing on these maps with links between them. That's quite significant, I think. And I think diving deeper into the landscape map, there's an emerging trend there where commercial companies aren't really just looking for particular ownership of products and selling those products, but they're actually embedding themselves very deeply inside partner ecosystems. I know, looking at the release of some software recently, there's less features coming out and more integration with other products out there, enabling them to embed themselves within this ecosystem where they can provide customers with a product that provides a far greater, well, that meets their needs much better across a greater landscape of things. So it's really about amplifying the value to the end customer and having all these different companies contributing their unique strengths and together coming up with a sum that's greater than all the parts that make it up. So these integrated solutions, I guess what I'm trying to say is that they address a wider range of customer things. So I'll give you some examples. Have you noticed how a lot of large tech companies have been investing in AI startups at the moment? A lot of cloud service providers are coming together, and even cybersecurity companies, large financial companies, large tech companies are sort of buying them up and partnering with them. I think I read last week that Amazon made a $2.7 billion investment in AI startup Anthropic, so that was interesting to see. And I think there must be about 60 or 70 AI startups I was reading about the other day, and interest in them is really exploding. I guess the reason for this is that it enables them to offer some very comprehensive solutions that meet the complex business needs of today. And it allows a seamless experience to customers, integrating everything from data analytics to storage solutions that fits neatly into customers' existing infrastructure and meets the needs that they have. What was I going to talk about? So I guess it's not just commercial companies that this benefits. It benefits open source organizations as well. PostgreSQL, I think, has really benefited from this over the last few years. You know, we see PostgreSQL in a range of cloud services with RDS, Google Cloud SQL, and Azure for Postgres. And those organizations add a lot of other services to it, making the PostgreSQL technology a lot more accessible and easier to use and add value to it. Then we also see integration with development environments. DevOps practices and their tools has encouraged tighter integration with databases. So Kubernetes, for example, Crunchy Data and Fujitsu have both got very good operators for running PostgreSQL in a containerized environment, simplifying things and making it much easier to run Postgres in that environment. And really that aligns databases with architectures we're seeing like microservices and CD or continuous deployment pipelines. And then another example is in data driven decision-making tools. Fujitsu is very good at participating in data federation type services with its foreign data wrappers to so many different data sources. You know, there's also a lot of integration with platforms like Kafka, Elasticsearch, and that type of thing that makes it a fantastic base for that. We heard about PG Vector yesterday that allows integration with a lot of AI tools by storing embeddings and things within it. So it's just getting stronger and stronger in that area. I was talking to our Fujitsu Vietnam team over the last couple of days while I've been here. They've invested heavily in this area, and they've got an open data platform down there that's built on top of PostgreSQL technology. So it's worth going down to the booth there and having a look at this particular use case. So I guess overall it's about PostgreSQL has been very successful in actively shaping these technologies by providing a reliable database technology to build them on that fits very easily into these cloud services that we see today, these DevOps architectures, and the broader data ecosystems that we see emerging. So what does this mean? What's the key here, I guess, for open source communities? I think thinking about it, maybe we need to start looking at how to engage with potential partners, not so much Postgres, because I think that's already happened, but perhaps exploring ways to make sure our open source technology that we develop integrates with those commercial solutions, embedding ourselves within them. So that could mean something like developing plugins for popular commercial products would be a good way to go. Ensuring compatibility with widely used standards, or even collaborating on joint ventures that combine both open source and commercial software. So embracing the ecosystem-oriented approach, whether it's commercial or open source, I think in the end what it does, it unlocks new value to end users and customers, and provides a sum much greater than the individual parts. I think just finishing off, if we look at PostgreSQL in particular and how much the landscapes, the PostgreSQL project's in a fantastic position for the future. It's embedded in all of these different landscapes, from cloud to everything else. So I think it's going to be there for a long time. And for those of you who are new, leaving university, I think considering getting involved in the PostgreSQL communities, or any community is great, but the PostgreSQL community is a great community to join and learn from being a member of before going out and looking at some others. So yeah, I encourage you to get involved in that. So I'm going to finish here. Hopefully I've provoked a few thoughts around this area for you to go away with, and sort of taking you out of some of the lower level technologies we've looked at, and made you think about open source at a higher level before we dive down to some of the details in our next session. And I'll hand over to Nishchay, my colleague, to talk about logical replication. So thanks for listening, and enjoy the rest of the conference.
All right, thank you.
So hello everyone, good morning. Welcome to this section. So in this session, I'm going to talk about advancement in logical replication inside the PostgreSQL 16 and 17. So before start the agenda of this session, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Nishchay Kothari, and I'm working as a technical consultant in Fujitsu Singapore, and I'm the part of the Fujitsu Enterprise Postgres Global Center of Excellence team. So this is the agenda of the session, and next around 17 to 18 minutes, I'm going to talk about all of these points. So introduction, so I'm sure that who have already are working with the PostgreSQLs are fully aware about it, what is a logical replication, but I would like to quickly cover the introduction for the newcomers. So logical replication is introduced in PostgreSQL 10, and it is a replication technology to replicate the data changes from one server to the other server by using the concept of the publisher and subscriber. And it is going to be, the data is going to be replicated from publisher to subscriber by using the concept of the replica identity. Generally, it's a primary key for the table, but sometimes according to the business requirement, we are not going to create the public primary key for those tables. Then we can set the replication identity full for that particular table. So we will be the part of the replication as well. Logical application will be able to create within the two different versions of the PostgreSQL as well. But make sure that the PostgreSQL version must be greater than equal to 10. Otherwise, it will not possible to configure because it is introduced in PostgreSQL 10 onwards. One publisher server can also replicate to the multiple subscribers, and all the subscribers can have a capability to accept the write operation if you require to design your application in such a way. And data is going to be replicated from publisher to subscriber by using the concept of the logical replication slots, and additional replication slot is also going to be created while performing the initial table data synchronization from publisher to subscriber. And once synchronization is completed successfully, then all the additionally created replication slots is going to be deleted automatically. But I must say that entire logical application is not a resource intensive if we are comparing with the traditional trigger-based application called Slowney. So PostgreSQL 16 introduced last year, and it is, I would say, it's perfectly stable and perfectly usable for our production environment as well. So next couple of slides, I would like to quickly cover the newly enhancements, logical application related enhancements introduced in PostgreSQL 16. So I would like to start with the PostgreSQL 9.5. So inside the PostgreSQL 9.5, the replication origin, the concept is introduced for the logical decoding framework, and that allows the application to mark and identify the certain aspect of the logical decoding sessions as well. So now let's say if we are talking about the logical application, so let's say the architecture, like say for example, you have a logical replication architecture where server A is your publisher and server B is your standby subscriber server. Then in that case, if we are going to insert any number of rows from server A, is going to be replicated to server B. That's the normal ideal architecture. But now let's say you have an additional requirement. You would like to create some sort of bidirectional replication where you are going to create a replication from server B to server A as well for the same table, which you already have a logical replication from A to B. Now, in this case, if we are going to add one row from server A, goes to the server B, and the same row is trying to replicate from server B to server A. So it is going to be an infinite replication loop among all the replication nodes. So now how to handle this? So to handle this kind of scenario, community come up with the new subscription parameter called origin. With the help of origin, it will handle the replication cycles among all the replication nodes, and as well as also instruct the publisher to send only those data changes to the subscriber which are originated by the SQL commands. So that is a mechanism to break the infinite loop of replication between the replication nodes. So this particular parameter have a two value. One is any, which is a default value, and another is the none. So if we create the subscription with the help of origin is equal any, which is so it will subscriber will inform, I would say, they request the publisher to send all the data changes irrespective of the origin of that particular data, whether it is created by the replication command or the SQL commands. But once we set the origin is equal none while creating the subscription, that in that case subscriber will request to send only those data changes which is created by the SQL commands. So that's the benefit. So we can achieve some sort of bidirectional replication. Definitely there is no DDL and sequences. There is no logic of the resolving the conflict as well. But still we can able to achieve some sort of basic bidirectional replication. Next one is the large transaction handling mechanism. So till the PostgreSQL 15, all the large transactions are going to be applied at subscriber side. So the logic behind that, it will goes, publisher will send all the data changes into the multiple stream by dividing the large transaction inside the multiple chunks. And at the subscriber side, apply worker will read all the small data changes and write it inside the temporary files. Once the subscriber is going to receive the commit, then apply worker will read all the temporary files and apply the entire transactions to the subscriber side. So now to handle this, it is a time consuming, and it also reduces some sort of performance overhead. So it will increase some performance overhead. So to handle the overall mechanism, community come up with the new subscription parameter called streaming. With the help of that, we will be able to apply the large transaction parallelly. So what happened when we create a subscription with streaming is equal parallel parameter, then large transaction is going to be assigned to that particular transaction until that worker is going to be assigned until the transaction is going to be finished successfully. And we can control the amount of worker by modifying the parameter called max parallel apply worker per subscription. And this parameter is introduced in PostgreSQL 16 and available inside the configuration file of the PostgreSQL. Overall, with this particular new enhancements, 25 to 40% performance benefit is observed. Next one is the use of the indexes. So if you remember during the introduction slide, I have mentioned that tables is going to be replicated based on the replica identity. It could be a primary key generally, but if it is not possible, then in that case, it's going to be replica identity. We need to set a full. So now with this enhancement, we are able to use the indexes as well. But index must be a B-tree index, not the other indexes. The other indexes, if I say like the partial index or hash index or any other BREEN or GIST gene, any type of indexes not supported at this moment. Only B-tree index is going to be supported at this moment. Next one is the logical decoding support from the standby. So when I say standby, it means the streaming replication, publish primary server and the standby server. So generally, I'm sure you all are aware about that. We cannot be able to perform any DDL and DML operation at the standby server. And when we try to perform, it will throw error. But from this particular PostgreSQL version onward, if we are going to create the primary server and standby server with the wall level is equal logical parameter, then in that case, standby will allow to create the logical replication. And with the help of these particular enhancements, when your server is fully loaded, primary server is loaded, and you would like to perform the workload distribution, then in that case, this enhancement is going to be more beneficial. With this enhancement, we can instruct all the subscriber server to subscribe themselves with the standby server instead of primary server. So with the help of this, we can reduce the completely workload of the primary server. And next one is the allow the non-super user to create the subscription. So till the PostgreSQL 15, only super user is allowed to create the subscription. But now with this enhancement, non-super user is also able to create the subscription at the subscriber server. But we need to make sure that the non-super user who is going to create the subscription must have a PG create subscription privileges. Otherwise, it will not be allowed to create the subscription by the non-super user. So next two slides, I'm going to talk about the catalog tables and views, which are going to help you to monitor your logical replication. So let's start with the PG state replication. So I'm sure all of you are aware about that. The PG state replication is useful to provide the information about the replication status. And yes, it is common for logical replication as well as streaming replication. So there is no different view or table for this logical replication monitoring. PG publication, PG underscore publication and subscription. So these are the system catalog tables which are responsible to provide the information about the subscription and subscriptions and publications. PG publication rail and subscription underscore rail. So these catalog tables are useful to provide the information about the mapping between your tables and respective publications and subscription. Next one is the PG replication slot. So this particular view is going to provide the information about all the replication slots along with its status, which are available, or I would say which are exist inside your current database cluster. PG publication namespace. This particular catalog tables is introduced in PostgreSQL 15 and provide the information about the mapping between your schemas as well as between your schemas and publications. PG state subscription is a statistic view useful to provide the information for this logical subscription workers information. And last one is the PG state subscription state. It is also introduced in PostgreSQL 15 and provide the information about the logical replication subscription errors. This one, the PostgreSQL 17. So in this slide, I'm going to talk about the possible logical related enhancements, which we are expecting to be part of the PostgreSQL 17. It is not confirmed yet because release note is still not available for the general use. So these are the expectation to be a part of PostgreSQL 17. So let's start with the first one, to allow the use of the hash indexes. So as you remember that in the PostgreSQL 16, I have covered that indexes, primary key, as well as we can set a replica identity full. Now with the 17 onwards, we can also able to use the hash indexes as well. This is the additional benefit for the users who would like to work with the logical application and work with the tables which do not have the primary key. Next one is a new column worker type added in the pgstat subscription. So as we've seen in the last slide, that pgstat subscription is useful to provide the information about the subscription workers. So with this new column, we will be able to track the what kind of operation is going to be performed by the particular subscription process. And the possible values would be apply, parallel apply, and the synchronization. These are the three possible values for this particular column. Next one is the allow upgrade of logical replication node. This is one of the most interesting, I would say, the enhancements which we are expecting in the PostgreSQL 17. So generally what happened when we are going to perform the version upgrade, major version upgrade of PostgreSQL in your logical replication setup by using the PG upgrade utility, then in that case, you will not be able to migrate your replication slots from the older version to the new version at the publisher side. And at the subscriber side, you will also not able to maintain the full state of the subscription set at the subscriber side. And at the result, after the successfully upgradation of your major version, we need to create all the replication slots inside the publisher server, as well as also redefine the subscription set at the subscriber side, which leads to the initial table data synchronization as well. So this is a time consuming and it's a waste of effort as well. So community enhanced this particular functionality, and now with the help of this, all the replication slots also going to be migrate from older version to the newer version, and subscriber also able to maintain preserve the full state of subscription. So there is no requirement of recreation of the subscription, recreation of the replication slot, as well as there is no require to redefine your subscription set. But we need to make sure that to get the advantage of this benefit, our publisher and subscriber must be created for PostgreSQL 17 version on or later version as well. Next one is add the log messages about the replication slot. So till the PostgreSQL 16, all the replication slots details are going to be recorded inside the PG_REPL slot name directory, and all the informations are stored inside the binary format, so which cannot be visible by the human. But now, so in case due to some any reason our database server got crashed, then we will not be able to identify that how many number of replication slots were active or inactive at the time of crash, and there is no alternative way to identify the metadata of the metadata of the replication slots. So in that case, we will lose the completely information about the replication slots. So now new log message entry is going to be added inside the PostgreSQL.log, which is going to provide the statistics information about the replication slot as well. And the last two, which is the very self-explanatory, and I must say that it is a long, most awaited feature, which we are expecting to be a part of 17, but still the code is under review by the community members, so we're not sure whether we'll be the part of that or not. Yeah, so that's it from mine. If you have any question, please feel free to.
One question. We all utilize extension models. I guess you use PGHint Plan, Adaptive Query Optimizer, so on, and we use the same, and EDB has a lot of extensions under the hood. What do you know, maybe, what do you do in the direction of replication of extension data of extensions, the internal state? Because now we have problem, we have extension on prod and quite different extensions different settings on replica. We need to synchronize the states. What do you do for that?
Correct me if my understanding is incorrect. Your question is looking for the data which is stored by the specific extensions, right? Which is created by the create extension command, something like that. Yeah. Okay. So again, logical replication will not handle any DDL or right. So you have to create the extensions from publisher to subscriber manually as well, first of all. And if you would like to synchronize your extensions data as well, if it is keep updating on a regular interval, then you can create a publication and subscription over there as well. And if it is a one time, it's like it's a fixed data, like it's just like as a metadata. Hello. Okay. So then you can also able to just restore it a one time as well.
I guess we need some general technique to just give API to extensions to allow them send their data, because it's not uniform. It's not just a table sometimes, it's maybe a file. So maybe you work in this direction to provide some API.
So again, so if it's a purely database related replication. So if you are talking about some files as well, so files definitely will not be a part of replication as well, because it's a purely logical. So it's purely based on reading the logical decoding of your wall transactions. So whatever the transactions going to be performed on a publisher will record it inside the wall file. Logical decoding will read record by record and apply at the standby subscriber machine. So file system level definitely will not taken care by the this thing, or it can be taken care by I would say the streaming replication. Yep.
Hi, thanks for great information. And I have question that, is it really possible to have logical replication within the same database? So maybe we can have two tables within the same database, and then can is it possible that can replicate the data?
So let me understand your question. Your question, table 1 is going to be replicated on a same database as a table 1.1, something like that. Something like that. It is also possible. You can create it locally as well. But I just want to understand that what is the use case for that.
And they were requesting for a demo that they want to know that is it really possible or not.
Yes, it is possible. As I mentioned, the publisher, subscriber, you need to create and over that you need, but you with not with the same name. You need to give a different name. Yep.
Okay, last question.
Sorry, my skin English not very good. Okay. As far as I know, version before 16 or 17, they do not support full replicate. Such as auto failover, load balancing.
So the question is for community version 16 and 17 is do not have replication or high availability to fail over in terms of master fail, so cannot control the passive one, the active fail, and then cannot control the passive backup node. So do you have any solution or the certain can?
So a logical replication. Yeah, which slide you're talking about? Just show me. This slide? You're talking about this slide? Which slide you are talking about? Okay, so the thing is like a logical replication is not the, it's like both server can able to accept the write operations. Okay, so publisher can also able to perform the read and write, and subscribe also can able to perform a read and write. But it will not bi-directional replication. Okay, so your application needs to be pointed on the one server, which is called a publication server. So all the transaction is going to be, in case it goes down due to any reason, then you can just switch over your connection string and you can run all the business from subscriber server. So there is no need requirement of failover from the database point of view, because both are active and both are able to read and write. It is active, but application will point to the only one server because there is no bi-directional replication. So once it is down, so first of all, we need to achieve the business continuity, right? So there is no concept of failover in logical replication. So it is just need to be taken care through some JDBC string or something like that. If one server is not responding, then the connection request redirect to the other server. Because other server is already up and running with the read and write mode. So just need to switch the connection string. Yeah, just a switch over, not the database, only connection string. Connection string.
Maybe the question is if there is any open source proxy or a failover tool that you could actually recommend.
There's something called as HA proxy and people ID.
No, he is holding it right. I'm So multiple things you can do. Okay, you can go with some PG pool, which also help you to achieve these things as well. Okay, apart from that, but I would suggest you, if you don't want to rely on this third party, you can directly rely on your JDBC string. With the help of libpq, you can also achieve those things. Yeah, definitely. You can visit the booth as well. You can visit the booth. We can answer all the questions as well.
Yeah, come back to Fujitsu booth so you can have a discussion. Also, please. Okay. Yes. Okay. We move on with the next talk. Yes. Let's move on to the next talk before the lunch break. Can you pull that up?
Alo.
All right. Last talk before the lunch.
Ổn rồi đấy. Nhưng mà okay.
That works. Now. Can I check? Check 1, 2. Okay. Now works. You can continue with this. Yeah, okay. That one works. Oh, sorry. Thank you very much. Okay, wait. Yes. Now do the slide there. Okay. Now with the security, we can continue.
Hello guys. In this session, I'm going to talk about the advanced security strategy for the PostgreSQL. So I'm just going to skip my introduction because you're already aware about that. So.
Okay, that's good. Thank you.
Okay, so now this is the agenda of this session, and in next around 18 to 19 minutes, I'm going to talk about all of these technical points. So I'm sure that all of you have heard about the data breach. And as technology is evolving day by day, then the occurrence of the data breach is also increasing day by day. So according to the latest data breach report by IBM and Ponemon Institute, in 2023, the average cost of the data breach has reached a record high of 4.45 million USD, which is almost 2.3% high if we are going to compare the data breach cost in 2022. In 2022, the cost was around 4.35 million USD. So I must say that data breach incident is one of the most embarrassing situation for any organization who become the victim of that. So data breach is not only brings the embarrassment for the organization, but it also brings certain negative impacts like the damage the brand reputation, reduce the customer trust, revenue loss, and all of this also impact the stock price as well. Stock price also going to be fall. So that's the reason it is one of the most, I would say, the very bad for the organizations in terms of other aspects as well. Here you can see on a screen that there are the various organizations and government entities who become the victim of data breach in the recent time. So there are the various security techniques which you can integrate with the PostgreSQL, and you can save your environment, or I would say the database, from the certain security threats like the privilege, misuse of your privileges, SQL injection, a physical file, physical drive theft, and man-in-middle attacks, or many other security threats as well. So in this slide, I'm going to talk about one of the most powerful database security tool, which is going to provide a complete safeguard to your sensitive data, called transparent data encryption, or TDE. So TDE is act as like a dedicated security guard for your database. And it's going to be work around the clock. So when I say it's going to work around the clock, so it means it, depending on the company requirement, it will create either 128 or 256 bit of encryption shield around your data files. So it provides the complete data at rest security. So in case attackers somehow able to manage and break your database server and try to access those files, they will not be able to see the actual data. They will see only the scramble of codes. And that is the reason that TDE is one of the widely accepted techniques by all the organizations who are mainly dealing with the PCI DSS standards. So if you would like to deploy, or I would say the configure TDE in your environment, there is no extra steps is going to be required, or I would say the complicated steps are required, and there is no modification or rewriting the existing application logic. Once you apply, or I would say once you configure the TD in your environment, you will, and in case if you have a very strong security requirement and you would like to rotate your encryption key on a regular interval, you can also able to do that without any complication and without any requirement of the re-encrypting your existing data with your newly rotated encryption key. And I must say that TDE is working very seamlessly with your application, because there is no performance degradation is observed when you are once you configure TDE. Everything is working as it is without any performance degradation. So TDE will encrypt everything which comes within its scope. So let's start with the table space. So if you created TDE encrypted table space in your environment, then any database object is going to be created inside that table space is going to be automatically encrypted. Backup files and temporary files. So TDE will encrypt all the backup files as well as temporary files as well. So hackers will not get any single benefit by accessing those files. Wall file. According to the internal architecture of the PostgreSQL, all the successful transactions are going to be recorded inside the wall files to make it available for the instance crash recovery. So, and nowadays utility also available which is responsible to dump your wall file into the human readable format, and TDE will restrict that particular things by encrypting every single wall files, so hackers will not be able to dump those wall file into the human readable format, and your data is still secure. In this slide, I'm going to talk about the another, I would say the another security tool, which is going to provide a complete safeguard for your sensitive data from the praying guys, called the data masking. So it is just like putting a mask on your sensitive data. So to implement the data masking in your environment, you need to identify the column which are responsible to store the sensitive data in your database. Once you identify that, then after that, you can apply any of the technique like encrypting, replacing, or randomizing, which is useful to scramble your original sensitive data into the non-identify, or I would say the completely scramble form. So once you apply this, any of the technique, your sensitive data is already scrambled. So it is completely suitable for the activities like testing, development, or analytic purpose. But if hackers got the access of that, it's completely useless for that, because its original data is scrambled, so they will not get any benefit. This particular technique is also useful to provide the protection from online and offline, both the mode. So as I mentioned in my previous slide, that data masking is just like putting a mask on your sensitive data. So just like when we wear a mask, then others can see our eyes and able to hear our voice, but they will not be able to see our full face. So data masking is also work in a similar concept and also have a few masking types as well. So let's start with the full masking. So full masking is just like putting a superhero mask on your sensitive data. So it will convert your every single information, every sensitive single information from that particular column will transform into the completely new scramble form. So it's just like turning Peter Parker into the Spider-Man on every single place where it is visible. Partial masking is a technique to hide the certain part of your sensitive information while the other part of sensitive information is still visible to the others. That's called the partial masking. And I'm sure you have, all of you have experienced this kind of partial masking in your day-to-day lives. For example, when you try to go for the online shopping and you already have already saved your bank card as a preferred payment term, then you have observed that last 4 digits of your saved card is visible. Initial 12 digits are already masked. That's called the partial masking. Next one is the regular expression masking. So regular expression is like it is a technique to mask only those information which is going to be based on a special pattern, while by keeping the other all information is going to be in a well organized manner. So for example, if you would like to display the address, in the address, building number, building name is going to be visible to all the users, but the street name is only street name is going to be masked, which is going to be fulfill your masking policy, while the other street name is still visible to the others, which are not going to fulfill your masking policy. So that's called the masking, regular expression masking. You can see on the example on at the bottom of the slide. So auditing is audit logging enables the organization to trace and audit the usage of sensitive data, and also logs the connection attempt of the database, as well as also provides the additional information for accessing the data by logging the certain informations like what data is accessed, who accessed the data, when the data is accessed, how the data is accessed. So all the information can be possible to log inside your audit log files. So depending on the business requirement, administrator can able to configure the database object, certain events or database objects which they would like to get some audit information. And all the audit information is going to be logged inside the dedicated audit log files, which are completely separate from the PostgreSQL.log files for the easy access and management point of view. And there are two types of audit logging. One is the session audit logging, and another is the object audit logging. So both type of audit configuration possible to configure by the administrator of the organization. The session audit logging is going to log the certain events like PostgreSQL service start, connection attempts, backup operation, maintenance operations, and few others. While on the other hand, the object audit logging is going to be log the certain operations like all the DML operations which are going to be performed on the specified database objects. But object audit logging is going to provide the some more granular level of audit information. So the actual goal of the auditing is to provide the organization the capability to generate the database logs, or I would say the logs, which are going to be comply with the various government and financial standards like PCI DSS, and also helps the organization to, I would say, obtain the ISO certification if it is required. So you can see on a screen that there are the list of the class name which we need to configure inside the audit configuration files, and based on the class name configuration, appropriate statement is going to be logged inside the audit log files. So in this slide, I'm going to talk about one of the most powerful PostgreSQL extensions called pgcrypto, which provides the complete safeguard to your sensitive data well within in your database. So as I mentioned, that pgcrypto is one of the most powerful. So it also offers the various cryptographic operations, also allows to encrypt or decrypt your sensitive data, and also give a complete facility to the users to generate the various hashes and digital signatures as well. And if I'm going to talk about the capability of this particular extensions, so with the help of the various encryption, robust encryption, symmetric and asymmetric algorithm, users can able to encrypt and decrypt their sensitive data. And so this particular extension supports the wide range of asymmetric and symmetric extensions. As for example, like AES, Blowfish, RSA, OpenPGP standards as well. So with the help of that, your data is completely secure. I would say is already encrypted, and it will not be able to decrypt by the attacker, even though they are able to manage the break into your system, but they require the appropriate decryption key. Otherwise, it's 100% secure. Next one is the users also able to secure their critical passwords as well. So the pgcrypto will have a wide support for the various hashing algorithms like SHA 256, SHA1, MD5, and with the help of that, it makes sure that your password is completely irreversible, and it will completely convert into the unbreakable string, even if it is directly retrieved from the database. Last one but most important feature of this particular extension is it also allows the users to create the digital signature. So it will work as a tamper-proof seal to verify the authenticity and integrity of your data as well. In this slide, I'm going to talk about how you can secure your data when it is moving, means data in transit. So PostgreSQL have an inbuilt capability called SSL, means secure socket layer, and it will works very well with the transport layer security, means TLS. So with the help of both, we can able to make sure that our data is always secure when it is traveling between your computer and database server. So with the help of SSL TLS, we will be able to achieve the two type of encryption. One is the public key encryption, which act as a fancy lock. So only right person can open, means only you and database knows what is being sent via network. Symmetric encryption is it's like a secret code. It looks like a garbage to everyone without the appropriate key. And if you want with the help, so if you want to configure SSL TLS in your environment, certain things also needs to be in place. One is installation of OpenSSL needs to be done on both client and server. Server key and certificate is also required to make sure that you are talking to the right place, not with some imposter. And certain SSL related configuration also needs to be done at the PostgreSQL level. Once you have all these things in place, you are good to go and able to secure your data when it's traveling via network. PostgreSQL supports both self-signed and third-party CA certificate as well. So depending on the business requirement and security requirement, we can choose any one of them to secure your data. Security patching. So security patching will help you to protect and keep your system healthy from the potential vulnerabilities, or I would say security threats. So we should not ignore any security patching, because it provides a complete safeguard to your environment from this security vulnerability, which can be exploited by the hacker to break into the system and can damage or steal your valuable data. And it is highly advisable or I would say it is always crucial to apply all the OS and database security patches on a regular interval as soon as they become available for the use. and it is always beneficial to integrate your patching process inside your development process as well. So successfully testing and implementation and testing of your security patch completed before it applies to the live production system. Last one is, it is always highly advisable to automate your patching process. With the help of automation, if you're going to apply the patching in your environment, you will get a certain benefits, like you will save your time, bring the consistency in your all the environment, and also reduce the risk of the human error. So these are the benefit if you are going to apply the patches via automation. So that's it from my end. If you have any question, please feel.
So Nishchay, the auditing capabilities, object and session level. So are they PG audit extension?
No, it's the same. It's a PG audit.
Okay,
it's a PG audit, but it's integrated with the Fujitsu Enterprise Postgres. So it's a part of that. So all the security features you have seen on screen, right? The TDE, data masking, SSL configure, all are available inside the Fujitsu Enterprise Postgres. And if you would like to know more about your compliance level of your database structure, or I would say the security based on the CIS benchmark, you can visit our booth. So we will walk you through that. We already have a security assessment service for that.
I have a question. Can I ask a question too? Okay, quick question. Do you, at Fujitsu, do you use these features that?
Yeah, we already have inbuilt inside the Fujitsu Enterprise Postgres. Yeah.
Right. We have a question over here.
Hi, Nishchay. How are you?
Hi, Julento. How are you?
I'm good.
Good, thank you.
So this is very interesting.
Thank you. Thank you.
So my question is, how fast?
Okay. So
compared to the no encryption one.
Okay, so we already have a trace result for that. So we can't. This is not the right platform to distribute the the comparison a bit performance that. So if you would like to know, you can arrange the technical expert call with us. We will be walk you through over there as well.
Yeah.
But this is not a right platform to discuss about the performance between the one server to the other server.
No problem. We will discuss later. So my next question is: do you use hardware accelerated encryption?
Sorry.
Hardware and accelerated encryption.
Can you elaborate your question for that?
So the question is using the processor mnemonic.
Okay, so definitely, so based on, again, this is again related to the benchmarking test. So as I mentioned, that is not a platform for that. So
okay.
Yeah, definitely you can, as I mentioned again, you can book a call with us. We will walk you through all these things.
Okay, thank you.
You can visit the booth also. Yeah, so we can have. Okay, one more question. All right.
So you were mentioning about security, encryption, masking, and auditing, right? I'm interested with the masking. Do you use the PG anonymize?
No, we are not. We don't. We have our own functionality to. I would say that we have our own extensions to masking this. We are not rely on the community PG anonymizer.
Since I also interested in embedded encryption, something like that, and also to comply with the regulations. Do you think the masking itself also complying to the regulations?
Yeah, so Fujitsu Enterprise Postgres is purely compliance with the various data security standards like HIPAA and the GDPR or PCI DSS, everything. So, yeah, thank you very much.
Right.
And just first to let you know that the new version of FTP Postgres, which is compliant with the FIPS 140-2.
Okay, I think we have one more question. Okay, yes.
I'm not sure I understand TDE correctly, but encrypting data in shared buffers on a disk, what do you do with some specific play Postgres, like Postgres statistics, where we store some interesting things like most common values of your data, or some caches. For example, you sometimes can spill data on disk, sorting them or joining them, or just tuple store, which also can be spilled to disk. You secure this data or not?
Okay, so TD is for the purely data stress security. So it's a file system level.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Rich. Thank you.
Let's applause for the speaker.